I am JustDaZack, and today I want to show you guys a RPG you probably haven't heard of, but that I highly recommend. It's probably one of the best on the market you can currently play. That is a slight exaggeration, but not necessarily. This is a full conversion mod called Chronicles of Myrtana. This game came out 3 years ago. It is still being worked on. A 2.0 version is supposed to come out soon as well. Also, I like how there's already like red and wolves coming up. Ruining my kind of trying to go with the interaction. Okay, let's go. There we go. Got you. At least. Oh, no. Oh, they actually got one of the farmers. Okay, let's go with you. There we go. Oh, man. And there we go with a crit. I'm actually more of an archer right now in this playthrough. Smart kid, because I put up my weapon to help you? I mean... yeah. Well, I'm gonna loot your friend's body then in that case. So again, yes, this is a full conversion mod, completely free. All you need to do and need to have is to own Gothic 2. And then you can pretty much also just without any problem download this on GOG. And I think there's a Steam version as well. You can play, according to the official data, play this game if you do all the side quests for like up to 150 hours. And frankly, I believe this. I have played this game now for roughly 20 hours right now. I'm in chapter 2 out of 6 as far as I know. And frankly, I'm not even sure if the main story has started yet, which is a little bit of a pro, a little bit of a con. And right now I'm gonna, show you guys this game a little bit, talk about several mechanics, run around, and just share my experience. Also, I guess with that, what I just said, technically we're doing a little bit of a main quest right now, but I don't think there's going to be any spoilers here if you decide to play this, which I do recommend, frankly. So right now, this is the world of Archolos. We have a map, which is nice. You can also buy this map, funnily enough, without any of these, markers, 1, 2, 3, etc. We are at the upper left corner, the number 3. Which I finally arrived. You will start the game at the number 6, a little bit of spoiler there. And that is essentially the set of the game. Let's start maybe with that, is that this is very much integrated in the canon world of Gothic 2 so far. Again, made by very, very passionate people. The idea is, I'm actually not 100% sure that this plays even slightly before Gothic 1. And the orcs are invading. That's a thing we all know. And we, together with our brother, decided to, maybe be reasonable and flee from the upcoming war. And this is why we went to this island called Archolos, and things happened, mostly with our brother, and we have to venture out and try to deal with, all these things. We're gonna, our brother got sick, he disappeared, we're gonna look for him. That's essentially the setup. We met our brother, which is an interesting thing, and, that's what I'm here for right now, because I got a little bit of a lead that one of the farmer guys could help me, give me a few information. But of course, after 20 hours, I already joined like a merchant's guild, one of the 2 big factions in the game. I became an apprentice of the local alchemist. I defeated a few monsters. There's still many out there that wreck me absolutely, but it's already a great feeling that I'm able to pretty much one-shot wolves if I land a crit. And what that means with the combat system, I'm gonna go into detail with that a little bit as well. So this game has been actually made by a group of Polish developers, because if German people and Polish people have anything in common, anything at all, it's the it's just the love for the Gothic series. That is what keeps us together. That is why we, in the middle of nowhere, will meet each other and say, man, I like Gothic. I too. And then we're friends. That's just how it works. So yeah, there's this guy. He might give us some information. He's gonna want to talk to us. The problem is, of course, we have to do something before that. He actually gave us a set quest too. And I'm gonna do this first, because this is already interesting. This is the thing I haven't done yet, because I just gained a recipe to brew a potion. And this is my inventory. I collected a lot of stuff, and almost everything of that is actually very useful, or useful in varying degrees. But I'm gonna talk about that later as well. So we have this alchemist bench. I don't think I need, even though I did, because of my apprenticeship, learned alchemy. I'm already in level 2 out of 3, I think, of the different alchemy skills you can learn, but I don't think you have to have learned this for the poison. And I just read the... I'm pretty sure I have all the ingredients because I have so much stuff. So let's actually see. Yeah, other potions, prepare poison. Let's see, there we go with the bread poison. We need one water bottle, I have that, meadow knotweed, we have fried red meat, we have dark mushroom and water, quite a few. And the properties, attention, corrosive substance. Yeah, let's make one of those. We could actually make 9, interesting. But this is a quest item, so I'm not sure if we would actually benefit from making multiple ones. And of course, we could also just make some wheat. Oh, well, if we had the resources, which I currently don't have. We could also crush magic ore, very important if you know the original Gothic series. And I'm not even sure, I probably said it, you can pretty much download this game on GOG on Steam immediately. All you need to do is to own Gothic 2. You don't even have to have it installed. There's official pages for this mod. You download it and pretty much runs from the get-go. And that's one of the coolest things so far. Like, it's very technically stable. Like, I hadn't had like a single crash. I have the occasional stutter, especially when you first boot up the game. Seems to load a lot, but that usually goes. I mean, as you can see, it is certainly quite fluid right now. There's a few things usually when you climb a lot where I had to reload, because if you decide to give this a try, if I can recommend you guys everything, save a lot, multiple slots, because what usually happens a lot, and I kind of want to show you guys where I'm coming from. I hope it actually doesn't happen. Is like if you are like on these weird latches on, you know, these steep curves, the game sometimes, you know, locks you into a fall animation, and then, well, you can't get out of that and you have to reload that, so to speak. Also, you can climb a lot and you will find a lot of loot. This game is very rewarding to play. There's so many things to find around all the corners. Let's see, drop down. I hopefully don't die. There we go, just a little bit of damage. The easiest way. And the map design as well, while we're at this, is amazing. It feels good. It is no flat, boring terrain, which frankly I feel like most modern games somehow have. I mean, look at this. This feels like a farm. You have trees, you have this, you know, little canals. I don't even know. There probably is an official thing. And you have so many things to pick up. Sorry, I just can't help it. There we go. Gonna pick those. There's people running around working on the farm because, you know, not Oblivion or anything did it, like NPCs running around having a daily schedule. I think Gothic is definitely one of the first 3D games that did that, and to great effect, of course. So we made the red poison, and that's just what I mean. Look around. You can actually go to pretty much all the places here you see. This is no flat, boring terrain. There's so many things to look up, so many things to climb. It feels like an actual living, breathing place. I love the map design. It's equal, maybe even better than the original Gothic games, and that says a lot, I feel. So there's a red hole. I'm actually gonna save the game, because keep in mind, you want to save the game a lot. Because I am decently strong, I think, especially against red, but you never know what kind of red pops out there. So let's see, red hole. New entry, 100 XP, that's nice. Oh! And if you could tell, right? Okay, let's see. Young black reds. Yeah, okay, that fits good. That's probably also the reason why I wanted to make multiple potions. Red hole, there we go, yes. Okay, we need more red poison. It seems like 3 more. Didn't see these. No, 4 more? Let's actually count before I run twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. This probably has a bigger red, I would guess. 2, 4. Let's make 5 just in case. And also, you might have noticed already, this game has voice acting, but it's Polish. Which, again, this is being made by a Polish development team, and they actually got, like, experienced Polish voice actors to do this. I think there's, like, movie actors who have some lines here for certain characters, like very passionate ones. And overall, as far as I can tell, I don't speak any Polish, but the voice acting is very good, at least the microphone quality and everything. And I would also recommend you to turn that on, because the game feels so much more alive. I tried initially to play this without voice acting, but it feels very empty. And again, pretty good so far in that regard. So for now, let's steal this rake as well. Let's make 5 more poisons. Maybe that's another small thing that I noticed, is that sometimes one of these weird bugs that could happen is, I think usually it happens when you tap out of this game. It is an older game, that the voice acting sometimes just straight up disappears. But if you just restart the game, it's just there, no big problem. And I think, at least on GOG, the voice acting is actually like a separate DLC for this mod. So you need to install that one additional time, so to speak. But also, again, no going into any settings or anything. It just straight up works. Okay, let's try not to save. Let's go with the biggest fill here right now and hope. Yeah, I think 5 things was the right decision. I like how this already gives me 100 XP. Love it. Oh, that's a big one. That's a problem, actually. Okay, I'm actually primarily an archer. That's why I'm gonna switch around to my... There we go, because this deals... So... There we go. Don't know what you... There we go. Come on, got you. Good job. Because my sword is alright for my build, but I went dexterity and I went mostly into bow. And frankly, I'm not even fully combat focused because I have a bunch of learning points which you need to spend to increase your attributes and etc. And I keep currently 30 ahead because I'm still hoping that my alchemist teacher is going to teach me eventually how to make tier 3 potions. And as far as I know, that costs probably 30 learning points. Because if I'm able to make tier 3 potions, I am going to be able... That's a big one. That's bad. Bow. Okay, you eat on your fallen brethren. I recommend... I commend you on that, I suppose. So if I'm able to make tier 3 potions, that actually means that I can make permanent stat increases. And for like dexterity, HP, mana if I choose to, strength and so on. And I'm very much looking forward to that. Because I think once I get to that point, I'm gonna be quite overpowered for a while. But for now, I struggle a little bit, but not too shabby. And as you can see, when I loot these reds, I get like the meat, I get their fangs, I get some seeds in their stomachs. And that's pretty much also, especially the fangs, is that is one of the cool things of the Gothic series. You have to actually learn how to hunt game, so to speak, or get more loot from animals and so on. And that's also a tip I would give you if you try to decide this, because it's, relevant for the entire game, for a little bit of money and just items in general, which helps a lot. Okay, let's do another rat home. There we go. Okay, young one. I should be able to fight this with my sword. Look at this. Damage could be better. Ah, well, if I crit, it's fine. There we go. By the way, what do I mean with a crit? Well, the Gothic series, frankly, has, in my opinion, one of the coolest mechanical combat systems. It is, of course, you can see, like, visually and so on, and with the animation, it is based on an older game. But the core idea is, I think, is something that I'm very sad that this hasn't been explored more in modern games, because it feels so rewarding. It's great. What do I mean by this? Well, you can, in this game, learn how to use one-handed weapons, you can learn how to use two-handed weapons, you learn how to use bows, and you can learn how to use crossbows. For example, here my sword, of course, is a one-handed weapon. And as you can see already, you have, of course, like different animations. Like if you attack in a rhythm, we get like 4 hits in, which already feels cool. I can also do like side steps and so on. I think like a little bit of a block. I'm very bad at the combat, so take that with just, a grain of salt. But the cool thing about this is that this is based on 2 things. First off, this is a melee weapon, so I deal more damage the more strength I have. Well, I don't have much strength, I only have 24 total. This is a dexterity weapon, because, well, I went archer first, so luckily there's also weapons that require dexterity first. So there's great damage of 85, and on these 85 I think my 24 damage come. So technically I would have the ability to deal, I think, 109 damage. But I only do this on a crit, because frankly, we are someone who fled from combat. We are not a trained swordsman. So not every one of our hit is actually, being a proper hit in combat, so to speak. So here essentially, you can see the other thing, if you learn the combat in this game is one-handed, for example, you see these percentage things. My total currently in one-handed combat is 32%. And that does 2 things. First off, it essentially means I have a 32% chance to do a crit. And a crit here is actually just the normal damage. So if I crit, so to speak, I deal 109 damage. So I'm untrained. I'm a little bit trained. That's why I have 32% chance to actually do a normal hit, so to speak, do my full damage of 109 points. And if I don't crit, I only deal like 10% of it. So roughly like only 10 damage, maybe 11. I'm not sure if this game runs up, down or so. And of course, there's also like armor of enemy, armor penetration of weapons, etc., etc. But that's essentially the gist of this. The other thing, if you train your skill, is that the animations change as well. Like I'm already a tier 2 100 combatant, so to speak. So my animations that I can do like this 4-slide attack combo is also tied to that, which I love. So the animations feel different. You attack faster, you attack more fluid. You reach further, so to speak, in general. So that is all tied to the animation. And, well, the damage is also combined, of course, to the crit and your base stats, so to speak. And I think this feels very, very rewarding, because mechanically and visually and with the play style, you literally in the game improve, so to speak. Also, yeah, let's loot a skull here. Why not? For example, let's see. Do I actually have a 2-handed weapon by chance? There we go, a pickaxe. I'm not trained in pickaxe, so I can do like 1-2 combo maybe, so to speak. Not that good, the range is not bad, but if I would have learned, I would have even be able to use with more animations, use this pickaxe like pretty much almost as elegantly like the sword, which I'm not very good at either. And for example, the bows, as you can tell, or as I said, I'm mostly into bows. I have 32% also in bows. Here it's not a crit thing. With the bows you always deal your full damage. But I think, as far as I know, the higher this percentage, the more range you have to attack with. And usually it's actually very close, so more range is very good. And the more attack speed you have. And the bow, for example, or all ranged weapons exclusively deal more damage the more dexterity you have. So that helps as well. So I rambled a lot, but I hope I managed to give you guys a forewarning that this is essentially what I'm doing throughout this whole video. Just gush over pretty much all aspects of Gothic in general, but also this game. Also, this is a random meat bug. I love these guys since the first time, because you can just squish them and get a little bit of XP. I'm not even sure, because I haven't paid attention, if I did this quest properly now. Is there any other hole there? So we blew up this one. 2 or 3. Wasn't there one? I thought I saw one here. Probably mixed it up with one of these stones. Let's see. We have a quest log. These are all my current active quests. I haven't... Oh, I actually have failed a quest because I joined the merchants instead of the city guard in the city. Fair enough. So the other faction. Again, for a mod, usually not that uncommon that quests don't work and so on. So far, everything works beautiful. I actually have, I think, only one quest so far, which is the apprenticeship quest for the carpenter in the city that I can't fulfill. Even though the game tells me here. Maybe I missed something, but that's so far in like 20 hours, the first quest, which I think that maybe it's bugged out and I can't finish it. But again, it's a maybe. Might have, well, just missed something. Let's blow up this hole. It actually looks more like we blow it up, right? But I guess the idea is that this is poison. We put it in and we like burn it. And the fumes of it essentially... Let's see. Let's do like a little bit of a dodge. So that helps a little bit to evade against multiple enemies. Let's see. So here, clearly I did only like 10 damage. You see the HP bar at the top. Now I try to hit. That was definitely a crit, a proper hit. And if we crit... the damage actually looks decent, otherwise it doesn't really. But again, I have an okay weapon, but my strength score is very weak, and of course we don't crit that often. So melee is mostly my option against weaker enemies where I don't want to waste my arrows. I have a lot of arrows, and it's very easy and cheap to come by arrows, so don't you worry if you want to go that route. But... you know, we don't need to waste everything. Let's see. Let's go destroy cops. I put poison by the red tools. Damn, that stings. Yes. But did we blow up all of them? I feel like on this field we did, right? I kind of expected that we would get a notification. Maybe I just missed something. Kind of hard to tell on this, you know, field. But let's look around. Maybe it's on the other fields as well. Otherwise, we're just going to talk to the guy and then we will know for sure. And yeah, quest design as well, by the way. This is 20 hours in. This is just a side quest, but I love that, you know. It's not just go over there, kill 5 enemies. Actually, there's like very, very, very few quests in the whole game that are just like this. Essentially just bounty quests. The whole game actually, and this might actually be almost too boring for some people, is like you spend like the first 10 hours, or at least I spent the first 2 hours in the first village. I spent the second 10 hours in the city, and most of it is just running around, stealing stuff there, talking to people. One of the coolest quests, I think, in the last city was actually, frankly, just a guy was just like, hey, I think I got cheated in this chess game. Bring me, please, this rule book of chess and find it in the city. And then you run around and you get multiple options. Maybe steal it somewhere, buy it for like 250 gold. I could have bought it for someone else for a little bit of another side quest for 50 gold. Or I later even found like a solution number 4 where I did another side quest and then got it for free from like I think a water mage or so. And yeah, that was just around the city. There's a quest in the main city where you can pet a dog. Where you need to feed it over several days, like its favorite food items, so to speak. You got to figure them out of a bunch of options. Sometimes you just got to cook. You run around questioning people. It's less, it really is almost like none of those. Just go find someone over there and just come back. Usually you really run around the entire city, the entire world, step by step. You explore more. You get ever so slightly always further out into more dangerous territory, get more loot. It feels, first off, like mechanically like a very smooth progression throughout. And secondly, even more important, it feels like a world that is very live. You know, it doesn't feel shallow. It really feels you get to know the place by running around. You get to know the people. The writing of the characters is in general very good. And it just, you know, feels great, like Gothic, frankly. Like Gothic. I can't put it any other way. This could very much be an official title. Gothic 2.5, so to speak. There we go.
Nie bardzo miałem czas o tym myśleć, gdy rzuciło się na mnie stado szczurów.
Racja. Mówiłem, że to straszne gnidy. Trzymaj. Należy ci się solidny mieszek.
There we go. You experience a little bit of the Polish voice acting, and again, it adds so much to the scene. And they went, you know, with the trouble to... And there's a lot. There's every single character you can talk to is voiced. And that is a lot of work. That's why that is still a thing in modern games, why many big studios don't do it. Because it's a lot of work for one language alone, of course. And now imagine that for multiple ones. So you could also teach us this, the game Gothic in general, or how it works in the Gothic series. If you level up, you get learning points. But with the learning points itself, well, you can then use those to upgrade your core abilities or learn skills like alchemy, like hunting, how to get horns of the big beast in hunting, for example. Improve your combat abilities, for example, learn blacksmithing, increase your pickpocketing and stuff like that. But for that, of course, you need to find the appropriate teacher who's also good enough in himself or herself to teach you above certain thresholds. And usually they also want money. So you have to find the teacher for your appropriate skill, have the right amount of money, and of course learning points as well. Speaking of learning points, you can tell, for example, this currently increasing my one-handed weapons cost +1. It just increases by 1, cost 2 learning points and 15 gold. The important part here is the 2 learning points, because up to 30%, as we told before, my current threshold is 30%. Actually, I have 32 because I chose a bonus in the main mission that gave me 2%. On top of that, for free, so to speak. And up to 30%, it only did cost 1 learning point. Above that, it's going to cost 2. And I think up from 60% onward, it's going to cost like 3 learning points. And the last 10 or 20% cost 4, something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. But the cool thing is as well, as I just mentioned, there's two values. There's the value, for example, that we have actually leveled. If you look at 100 again in the upper right corner, I leveled up to 30%. I have 32% total because of bony. The same is if you look at strength, dexterity, mana, hit points, etc. For example, if you look at that as well, my actual hit points just by leveling is just 280. But I found so many bony and ate different food, varied food, for example, that also increased my HP, or that in itself. There's a whole cooking mechanic, guys, we haven't even gotten to. So my actual total HP limit is 455. So that's very nice as well. And for those of you who did play Gothic 2, which I figure is probably most of you, you will probably remember one very frustrating mechanic in Gothic 2. That is, you could, for example, get by eating apples increase your strength. It's the same in this game, by the way. That's why I have only one apple. For every 25 apples, you gain 1 free strength point. That's good. 1 strength point allows you to wield better weapons. Also, it's always 1 extra damage in melee combat, right? So, very important. I'm just gonna quickly slip here, by the way, to heal up for the next side quest. Actually, main quest, I think, in this regard. And in Gothic 2, just to finish my thought there, the 3 points, let's go with this on the other direction. Gothic 2 didn't do this separation you do see here in this free mod. It's separating your total value together with your actual learned value. That led to the original Gothic 2 feeling very frustrating because, yes, I could now eat X amount of apples to get a free strength point. But if I did this early on, when it brings me the most benefit, I would essentially gain a free learning point by this strength. You know, because early on, up to the first, 30 strength point, it only costs 1 learning point at a teacher to increase that. From 30 to 60, it costs 2 learning points, and increases 3, 4, as I just mentioned. So if I get it early, it helps me the most. And in Gothic 2, for example, it didn't do this distinction. So when I had 29 strength in the full game, gained 1 additional strength with the apples, well, now my total strength, my in general strength was 30, so now the next point at a teacher would cost 2 learning points. I hope that made any sense in my explanation. And I pretty much got just rid of that here, which feels very good. There's a distinction. So again, in Gothic 2, in the original one, you had this weird incentive to really keep your free strength points, so to speak, until the mid or late game to kind of not lose out on too many learning points instead. But then again, if you bring them into the mid or late game, you already got past most of the game where you didn't get these free points that you pretty much wanted to have throughout the game. So it felt very awkward and unrewarding. And you don't have this problem here at all. And the game does a phenomenal job in also teaching you this. There's early on a bunch of book stands and so on that are very clear about this, especially if you come out from the Gothic series, where you wonder that specific question, like I did, for example. And it just straight up tells you that in general, the introduction of the game is amazing. You start on a boat, you have a few side quests, you learn characters. The cutscenes itself, especially the in-game cutscenes here, are very, very good. And just from my memory, even better than the original Gothic 2. I talked to like a lady in one of the farmhouses, and in the background, suddenly her stove turned on and was on fire. And at first I thought, oh, the game just kind of glitched out or something. And no, that was actually part of the cutscene, of this in-game cutscene where, oh no, my stove, why didn't you tell anything? And there's small things like that. It feels like very, very professional on that front. I found empty grog bottles. Hot must have come through here. So yeah, what am I actually doing here? We have this quest here. And for the guy we actually just talked to, the red thing was the side quest. The main quest for him is essentially we need to find one of his friends or workers who went into, well, the forest here. And we're just gonna find him. He's probably dead, maybe not. You never know in the Gothic series. That's the cool thing. You know, in modern games, I always feel like, yeah, you will just, you know, go straight forward, follow the quest marker or something boring like that, kill a few enemies, say, oh, there's the corpse, and then you run back. But here, this guy might be alive. He might have run away. I had a similar quest once where that guy was actually up a hill, and I actually had to physically climb up that hill because wolves were at the bottom where he was hiding from, stuff like this. Also, there's crafting in this game, again, bow making, blacksmithing, and there's also essentially the extraction skills. So you will occasionally find like fishing spots, these fallen trees, ore deposits, and etc, where you can get some resources that you can either sell if you don't want them. By the way, is this just a wolf or a warg? Okay, black wolves are fine. I can deal with those guys. And by the way, I have no idea where this guy is, so we're just gonna run around until we find him or his corpse eventually. There we go. Also totally gonna loot all of your stuff. Could also be up there. Okay, wolves are fine. I already encountered some wargs, and wargs are just, like, no chance against them. If we see one of those, we're gonna run away and hope it's not too late. Ooh, look at this. There's... Oh, what the hell is this? That's actually something I haven't seen so far at all. Might be from the original games. What is this? A sea shark. That's so cool. This might actually be from the Gothic 2. But there's a corpse, right? Might actually be from the Gothic 2 add-on. I don't remember. Reskin enemy or so. Anyway, so there's a corpse. So that might be our guy. Luckily enough, black wolves are super easy. That's the funny part, by the way. That black wolves are way easier to defeat than... Oh god! Than black rats. But it might also be just that rats have better vulnerabilities in armor and damage resistances against arrow damage, which I mainly deal. Because there's also different, you know, resistances in game. There's like blunt damage, so if you attack a skeleton or a zombie, like this guy over there, a skeleton especially is of course very vulnerable against blunt damage, like a mace, but not that strong against arrows, which pretty much just fly through them. Or holy or fire damage, magic damage is also very strong. I only so far in this game encountered a single zombie, and I did like no damage. So, and he did like 10% of my damage, so I actually have pretty decent armor, but I don't think we can defeat these guys yet. Or if we would be able to, it would be very, very bothersome. Okay, let's save again. And let's see if we can fight the sea shark. And see if this corpse is the one we're looking for. I like how this thing actually, you know, hides in the sand. Is there a natural path down here? No, we have to climb. I should have attacked it when it first was there. There it is. Luckily, we can aim at it with a bow. Another thing, the game actually tells you through a quest as well. Oh, look at this cool... What is this if I look at my map? This castle. Oh, it's the Werdel Ruins. Oh, probably super dangerous, but also cool loot, I guess. So one of the cool things the game teaches you early on, by the way. One guy gives you like a telekinesis scroll, which you can use. I could now, you know, get that fish that lies all the way down there with this magic spell. But the more important thing is, if I have the spell equipped, so to speak, I can see items from further away. And the game straight up tells you that, so it doesn't feel like an exploit or anything. It feels like naturally incorporated. Okay, there's also this herb, which I want to point out. So let's actually fight this thing. I'm afraid. Let's see. Are you in the water? Are you supposed to be in the water? Oh, great. Yep, my bow does like no damage at all. I would guess this guy has a range attack, but oh, please jump! Oh, yep, that is like half my HP. That's not good. But that is only the melee attack. Do you have a range attack? Let's heal. 45%. Let's actually eat one of... Okay, just is stuck there. I'm gonna use this. Don't you worry. Okay, boar stew and wine. One of the cool items, because it heals us for 125 points, but it also increases our maximum HP by 1. So very important. Boar meat, guys. Very healthy for you. You're stuck there. Might feel a little bit cheesy, but frankly, this is also Gothic. You gotta, you know, use everything to your advantage, because enemies are not nice. And this thing can't reach me here. I'm gonna just clobber it with my arrows, don't you worry. I mean, just for this video and for the fun of it, do I have any spell scrolls? There is spells in this game as well. The cool thing about this too is, of course, you can learn using those, but again, they incorporated this into the lore of the game, where it's not that easy to actually be a mage. You have to learn that a lot, and in Gothic 1 and 2 you were somewhat a chosen one. That's why it was easier to learn it. In this game, you're not a chosen one. You're just Marvin. You're just a Marvin. This is why you can't learn the highest spell like in the main game, but you can get a lot of runes, so to speak. And so also mechanically different and interesting, but I can't use any of these runes, because for those I need to find books and learn it from the books, which I actually have for the different circles, but again, that costs learning points, which I don't want to spend. So my idea right now, let's see, a fireball scroll, let's use this, 75 damage. But sea shock, do we have anything like electric maybe? I feel like electric damage could be good. Sacred shock, let's try this 8. 10 mana. Let's see, 8. Sacred shock! Well, that felt underwhelming. And that cost almost all my mana. 7 fireball? Okay. You're pretty good against magic. I tried. So I'm gonna clubber you with my bow while you're stuck there. It's gonna take a while, but welcome to Gothic. You know, if you get some free wins in this against older game where enemies are stuck, I'll take it. Because you will load a lot. Because enemies, usually you only know when an enemy is too strong for you, when it just clubbers you in one hit, or maybe 2. And the world is dangerous. It's full of enemies. And this is why you need to save often, because pretty much only by learning most of the time you know what enemy is more dangerous. And you will need to run away a lot. I encountered trolls, for example, where I know I stand no chance. I encountered shadow beasts, which I know I don't stand any chance. Early on, there was like a cave where there were like 3 skeleton goblins. And at the very beginning, I didn't stand a chance. They completely clubbered me, so I came back a little bit later when I had better equipment, better armor, and then I also lured them out one by one, and by slightly cheating them as well, I managed to defeat these 3 skeleton goblins. Well, I then thought, okay, I cleared the cave, run around, and then there was just straight up a normal skeleton, which completely destroyed me. Welcome to Gothic. Yeah, you really need to hone your skills, get better equipment through time, and use like 100 arrows to kill a single sea shark. If you're that early into the game, because enemies are dangerous. The world is full of them. Again, especially at the beginning, the game is just like, okay, go over there, do this quest. And you can go over there. And sometimes there's also quests, okay, clear the area around this lake or so. But at that stage, when you get this quest, it doesn't incorporate and check what level you are or so. No, oh god, you're close to me. Please don't glitch up here. Just stay stuck there. Thank you, my friend. And yeah, so sometimes you get a quest where you don't stand a chance and you just need to come back later. There we go, got you. 500 XP, yeah. As you can see, I'm very good at this game's combat. I'm a valiant hero. Let's see, give me some loot, sea shark skin and fangs, cool. Let's see, corpse, it's too far away. A soaked journal, okay, I don't think that's the one we're looking for, but this journal is probably good to read. Another cool thing I mentioned earlier is that you get multiple ways for permanent stat boni. For example, sometimes it's quest, main quest, it might be food items, cooking items, it might be permanent stat potions, it might also be special orbs you find around the world, which currently I keep hoarding, because again, I want to hopefully learn sometime better alchemy, so I can turn them into even better ingredients. What I mean is, I think I have some items, for example here, dragon root. I could now eat it and increase my strength by 1 point. I have 10, so 10 more points of strength. Pretty good, actually. But I think if I learn all the alchemy and make potions from them, I get potions that increase my strength by 3 instead of 1. So a little bit of patience for a better reward later on. Another thing is to actually read books in this game. First off, reading pretty much every single book for the first time grants you like permanent XP. Straight up like 50 points generally, sometimes 100, sometimes even more, sometimes less. But in general, 50 XP. But there's also book series. And if you finish these book series, like just history books, like 6 books where it's about like 2 pages each, of course, usually in these games, where it's about the history of the first village. And if you read the book, and if you finish the entire volume, most likely, more importantly, you usually also get permanent stat bonus, like 10 more HP or 2 dexterity points and so on. And yeah, that makes interacting with the world, learning about it, the way it's presented, also just very engaging and cool. And of course, you know, it feels rewarding because pretty much everything you do gives you more XP, gives you better items, etc. What are you? Scavengers? I can deal with you guys like this. More black wolves. We still haven't found the guy we wanted to, right? There we go. The last third hit was a crit, and there's a corpse. That's probably the one we're looking for. So this one actually was dead. Yeah. Journal also got increased. Hot's corpse. Yep, that's the one. Okay, in this case, he actually is just straight up dead. Well, sometimes that happens as well. Funnily enough, I just literally same side or another side quest for the same character. Let's actually go back now. Of course, I could explore more in a way I want to. Especially get the XP from the wolves, etc., etc., more items. There was another fallen tree for resources, but you know, I keep already rambling so much about everything. Let's try to keep it somewhat concise here in this video. So this other side quest that I literally did before this video was pretty much, if you look at the map, again with the top left, I went to this beach area, south of the area we're in, with the number 3. I went there, and the quest was essentially just cleaned up the beach from like fish and etc. There were some enemies, a few medium enemies and a few stronger enemies. I defeated all of them, and then I found a corpse actually, in addition to picking up all the fish. And the corpse was actually one of, you know, a character I might or might not have met earlier, so to speak. There was a very cool connection, and I could also tell that to the quest giver. And that's one of the cool things as well. The quests are usually always multi-stage. You can just go the most obvious choice and get your reward, but sometimes if you do a little bit more, if you pay attention and talk to more people, get, you know, more items for the buck, so to speak, you can usually get through these multiple stages in the quest a higher reward, so to speak. For example, again, the main quest was just to collect fish, but I also I did that, and I notified the guy, hey, I also found a corpse, you might want to look into that. And he says, oh cool, nice. Gave me free XP, for example. That's cool to see. Okay, now let's actually talk to Willem Defoe. Let's see. Yeah, I'm here about Hot. I have bad news.
Przychodzę w sprawie Hoda. Mam złe wieści.
Niech zgadnę. Schlał się tak bardzo, że nie kontaktuje?
Gorzej. Facet nie żyje.
Co takiego?
W wąwozie niedaleko leśnej drogi znalazłem jego ciało. Musiało tam trochę leżeć, bo zdążyło zebrać się wokół niego całe stado ścierwojadów.
Cholera. Teraz będę musiał Nie sądziłem, że te ptaszyska
Rany na jego ciele były bardzo głębokie. Wątpię, żeby za jego śmiercią stały byle ścierwojady.
Coś sugerujesz?
Oh, looks like it's not the animals who got him.
Niczego nie sugeruję.
Might be something else or someone else.
To pewnie się przywidziałeś. Nawet nie masz pojęcia, do czego te...
Interesting. I like how he kind of diffuses it, but we also... Okay, before we actually talk to him, so the idea is essentially... And again, this is not much of a spoiler, and I really mean it. That is pretty much one of my biggest criticisms so far in this game, is like... The story itself is very, 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 very slow going. Like, the general gist is, again, you and your brother looted the grave of your mother, stole an amulet, and escaped on a boat from your hometown, home island, up to Archolos, because he wanted to flee from the war. First off, the intro cutscene is pretty cool, and there's also like an orc, when they show like the orcs are invading, that does like a little bit of like a post-show, which I think is actually very much inspired by Lord of the Rings, when the guy shows up that later on kills Boromir. Oh, I guess Lord of the Rings spoilers there too, sorry for that. And overall, that's a very cool thing. Also, of course, voice acted to implement mood. With everything happening, I feel like it does fail a little bit to highlight that you actually did steal an amulet. Like, it happens at the very beginning of the cutscene, but so much else establishing the world, the lore, and the setup is also happening that is kind of in the background, hard to memorize. And only like, again, I spent like 10 hours in the first village, and only once in the 10 hours in a side note did our brother mention that. And I think that's the get-go, what all of this is about, why he disappeared, etc., etc. But that's pretty much it, you know? You flee, your brother gets sick because, stuff happening at the beginning, and then he disappears and you look for him. And that is the entire story that happened in like 20 plus hours. You could also argue that we're actually someone who flees from the war, but I'm already fighting black wolves. We're becoming more and more of a warrior, which is actually the one thing we wanted to avoid, but I guess that happens naturally, and we have a reason by looking for our brother, of course. There's some cool things, because I think, like as me, Dustin, JustDaZack, think that I have an idea what who is actually responsible for the disappearance, because sometimes, you know, when you do certain quests, people also run around in the background and you see them, and then, you know, you can talk to them, but they ignore you, and then they run around. So there's a little bit of foreshadowing, which is cool. But yeah, that's all, you know. I don't even know if that is what the game is about. I don't know the overarching thing, because again, compare this, for example, with Gothic 1 and 2. Gothic 1, you got thrown into the mine colony, and there's a magic barrier, and you try to survive, and you try to mostly escape. That's the story. We know the setup, we know the goal. In Gothic 2 is, well, we escaped the mine colony, defeated an elder demon god, lost our power, and the next evil dragons and stuff is happening. Well, we kind of are in this already. We gotta go out there and stop them, so to speak, right? Clear setup, clear goal. In this, the setup, okay, we came to this island with our brother, and now he's kind of gone, and we keep take care of this, but what's the end goal? Is it gonna be about this amulet? Maybe I actually, again, that's what I think. But it was only established in the intro cutscene for like a split second, and it was mentioned in one singular sentence, like in, frankly, these last 20 hours. So they might have established that not enough, and even then we don't know anything else about that. So that's pretty much, I think, the weakest point so far. The overall story, because I still don't get the sense of like where this might remotely lead to. But it does, frankly, not hurt the game overall, because again, the world is amazing, the characters are amazing, the character writing is amazing, and you just want to explore the game and interact with everything else. So the world building itself is also cool, because if you read the books, listen to the characters, they tell you about the different vineyards on the city, they tell you about fractions, they tell you what the king thought, what the mayor thinks, and what he decrees, etc., etc. So the world building is excellent, only the main story is kind of meh. Overall, by the way, again, this is being made by Polish developers, and you can tell that this game's main language is in English. Overall, the translation is actually very good, but sometimes there's some weird phrases that I don't quite understand. It usually always works, but sometimes you're just like, you can tell it's translated because it feels like it's not 100% correctly translated, the meaning, etc. And I think it's also more a translation thing, because sometimes the characters behave, or how they are portrayed, how they speak, how they behave is a little bit weird as well. One example, for example, is in the early village, the town mayor, for example. Everyone keeps talking about how cutthroat he is, how evil he is. so to speak. Everyone is just kind of pissed at him, and you get the sense the game, or I at least got the sense the game is telling me, okay, he's gonna be essentially the first big boss, so to speak, or the big hurdle where we don't need to necessarily fight and kill him, but we need to kind of, on a political scale with the questing, need to overcome him as an obstacle to move on, so to speak. But then you go talk to him and he's just like, okay, you guys and here maybe do some quest, and then he's just, okay, he's straightforward, like, you help me, I help you. He's just very chill about it, and he's also, okay, I helped you because you helped me. And that was just like, okay, I thought the game was trying to tell me that I should dislike him, but he was just like one of the most straightforward people and so far. That is one thing I found interesting. Also, sometimes with the characters in the city, or just in general, sometimes it feels, mostly because I think of the translation, when characters are like very nice and then in the next sentence they like ridiculously rude somehow, which kind of is a stark contrast often how they are portrayed. Also now, what the hell is the quest again? Willem was furious when he learned that Hod was dead. Despite my doubts as to the cause of his death, Willem is convinced that his replacement was killed by the scavengers. Although my expedition did not have a happy ending, I did what I was supposed to do. I hope Willem will now answer my question as agreed. Wonder, that's the cool thing about this game. I actually wonder if this is a hint that I could have explored and find out more. Maybe we still can, that's the question also. Ooh.
Nie wiem, kto cię tu wpuścił, ale najwyraźniej muszę pogadać o tym z Willemem.
That's the big boss here.
Szukasz na mojej ziemi?
What are you looking for, my land? We could also steal his purse. Well, it would be difficult because I learned the pickpocket skill. We could ask for a job or who he is. Well, we kind of know he's the local main farmer here. But let's not talk to him yet, because he's probably, that's the guess, he might be involved in the disappearance of our brother. Because, of course, we don't want to confront him right now yet, directly. So we're going to talk to Willem, who completely disappeared, or I'm just blind. Or maybe it's him here, right? Yeah, it is. I'm just blind and stupid. There we go. But what else can I talk about this game? Again, I want to be this nitpicky. That's usually my nature. But also, in this game, particular in this case, I just want to highlight it because all of those are just nitpicks. Overall, I enjoy this. This is one of these games I, since a long time, did essentially an all-nighter, where I started playing, you know, in the weekend at midnight and suddenly it was 10 a.m. in the morning, something like that. And I haven't done that in a while. It feels good. It feels so much Gothic. You run around, do the quests. I think one thing I could talk about is that, again, mechanically, I hinted at with the entire stat system already, etc., and that you can cook. Mechanically, this game has just overall been improved. Again, with the stat systems, that this is not an issue with a learning thing, with the learning points, if you get them through different means outside of leveling up. You can brew potions a lot. You can actually cook in this game. Let's see, there's a pan, which in the first game, there wasn't really a cooking system, and with the first game I mean the original Gothic 2 here. It was essentially, you could of course get meat from hunted down animals, and then you could fry that meat in a pan. And you had to do it with this animation, kneeling down, getting up for every single piece of meat. Every single one. But here, as you can tell in this mod, you get an options menu. And we could also say fry the meat. For example, all the meat of all the animals we have. That's already a cool convenience. Look at all 34 raw red meats, etc. That would have been a lot in the full game. And of course, we can prepare a meal. As I said, we have recipes of different things. We can cook all of this stuff. And usually, it's very good to cook, because it's cooked items always restore more HP, more mana, etc. way more than these single ingredients, and usually you just mix them together. There's like permanent items like salt and vinegar. Once you acquire one-time salt, so to speak, for the cooking, you don't need you don't waste or use it per item, but you just have it for all items for all eternity, as long as you have the salt item in the inventory. And then turnip and honey in this case are the ones you use up to make The simple dish, which is a pickled turnip, a simple vegetable side dish often eaten and accompanied by meat dishes, and by the poorer classes in the company of stale bread. Hit point restored 50, and I can even see how many I have produced. I could do this, and now we have cooked this. Right now, of course, the most important item for me is usually the boar stew on wine, because this requires fried boar meat, which we actually have 19. Ooh, we only need 3. I need perennial vine now. Gotta keep that in mind, because if we cook this, then we get this cool item that increases our maximum HP points. That's, I think, so far the only cook item that I have that increases any stats permanently. Oh, I want to try to get out of this menu. That's one of the small issues here. The more recipes you get, the longer it takes to get out of this menu. But there's going to be more. I'm pretty sure that I saw a few already. I think once I don't have the capabilities yet to fight a troll, but I found some troll meat. I fried that, I ate it, and that also increased my HP, for example. And just looking around for items like that feels rewarding for the books, etc. There is, again, blacksmithing in this game that is, as far as I can tell, also slightly improved in comparison to the first game. Same with bow making. Actually, the bow I have right now is an item. That's, I think, a good example for the mechanics of the game. I have this beechwood bow that I made actually like 10 hours ago. I really need to upgrade yet. It's been a while. But that's an item I crafted myself by having like a bowstring, some skin, etc. wood. Just a few items. I bought this recipe in an early merchant, an early trainer. Crafted this at a workbench where you can also make arrows, for example. And because I made myself, again, it also says a self-made weapon, I get essentially this bow combat bonus 2 as well, which I'm not quite sure if this is damage or this percentage value. Maybe if I unequip it, bow is now 30. Ah, look at this. And if I equip it, it's 32. So that's the bonus because we made the weapon ourselves. And there's probably there's most likely the same for blacksmithing, but that's something I haven't learned yet for melee weapons. But yeah, that's an upgrade. And when I crafted this item, by the way, again, you see the dexterity required to actually use this weapon is 40. I think I had 30 at the time. But because of like magical rings and, for example, stat boni from things I ate, which in this game, by the way, are raspberries. If you ate 25, you gain 1 free dexterity point. But also because I have, for example, the Ring of Courage, which gives me 2 more strength and 2 dexterity. Or I currently have, this gives me more edge protection, which is one of the damage types. There is dexterity bonus +3 from the Ring of Skill. I went into first person, but by the way, I'm not sure if you can fight like this. No. But you can look around like this if you want to, which is also nice to have, I suppose. Especially if you know, for this scene, feels cool. But yeah, so by using magical items, that actually allowed me the threshold to reach this weapon earlier on than I would have otherwise by just learning. So that gave me an initial pretty good damage boost at that time. Right now, the beechwood bow is only good because I have a good amount of dexterity, 63. Again, as you can tell, my main dexterity by leveling up is actually only 42. But thanks to all the stats upgrades and the magical equipment, it's actually 63. So 63 damage plus, what is here? 45 point damage, so we talk about 108 damage. Actually pretty close to this weapon, 109, but 109 only on the 32% crit chance, and 108 here, always guaranteed. We just need to be in range, so to speak. That makes bow pretty cool. Sometimes slightly awkward in melee, because you can't block or dodge that good, but usually if you just shoot them down fast enough, that helps. And yep, that is just me rambling now for almost an hour about this great RPG. I hope, that's essentially the idea. I hope I was able to show you guys why I love this game, why I highly recommend it, why I have no doubt if you love the original Gothic games, you are going to have a great time with this. If you love RPGs in general, I think you're also going to have a great time with this. Then I still would recommend to you, especially Gothic 2, but Gothic 1 as well. They are older games and you can tell, but visually and graphically, but overall, just for the experience, they hold up phenomenally. They are so worth it for the story, for the progression, for the feeling and everything. And this does the same. You don't need to have to play, that's maybe important, you don't need to have played the original Gothic games to just get into this. Of course, you have more context and know what's going on a little bit more, but overall, you could frankly, in my honest opinion, just jump into this. Well, you still are required to have Gothic 2 to play this, so you get pretty much 2 amazing RPGs for the price of 1. And it's regular as hell, so I guess you can always get, or pretty much often get, Gothic 2 Gold Edition for like $2.50. And it's still one of the best. This is an amazing mod that feels like the next small step in the series. It feels like a fully fledged Gothic game. And what else is there to say, frankly? I just run around, rambled a lot. Tell me if this was interesting to you. Have you listened this far? Anything I can improve? Frankly, I'm just so excited, and I'm gonna play more privately. I very much enjoy this game. There's a few small things, mostly the story. Of course, I, as a German player, so to speak, would love to have this in German voice acting. It is noticeable that this is not the original one I grew up with, but, you know, for a free project of this scale, they have good voice acting. And frankly, in a way, it also feels like this is a different land. At least for me personally, it works to say, okay, different language they speak here, so to speak. But yeah, double thumbs up. Check it out. Link is down below. Tell me what you think. If you have played this game already, please tell me your experience of playing this. Maybe I'm just at the spot where it drops up. Who knows? Maybe chapter 3 is where the game falls apart and it's terrible. Because again, I'm chapter 2 after 20 plus hours of gameplay. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe in chapter 3, finally story picks up and everything makes sense and feels great. Because that was, again, my biggest gripe so far. Who knows? Please tell me what you think. Stay amazing, and we see each other in the next video.